meeting for February 15th, 2024. Ms. Brown, are you ready with roll call?
Yes. President Bonds,
Present.
Vice President Sarah. Present. Commissioner Atkins,
Present.
Commissioner Cook. Present. Commissioner Fisher,
Present.
Commissioner Harrell,
Present.
Commissioner McCain, Commissioner Schilling, Commissioner Miller.
Allen, I'm sorry. So, William Allen in place of Dave Schilling.
We have a quorum.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our previous plan commission. Ms. Brown, do we have minutes that are ready to be approved?
No.
Okay. Then we will approve those minutes at our next scheduled meeting. The next item on the agenda is the election of officers, and at this time, I will turn over the gavel to Council Molina, who will vacate the offices and entertain nominations for the election of this year's new officers. Council?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bonds. Since the first meeting was not held where we do the election of officers, we will do that at this time. Do we have, well, there are, yes. First, we need to vacate the current officers. Should we take a motion on that to vacate the office position? No? Okay. Well, then we'll note that the offices have been vacated with the new board coming in. With those offices being vacated now, as a formality, we need to appoint the next officers of the commission. Do we have any nominations for president?
I nominate Terrell Bonds for president.
I second it.
There's been nominated in a second. Any other nominations? All right. Then for the office of president, if we can do a roll call on the nomination.
President Bonds,
Yes, and I accept.
Vice President Sarah,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins. Yes. Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller. With a vote of 7-0. President Bonds is again president of the Plan Commission.
Congratulations, Mr. Bonds. We'll take now, open up for a nomination for vice president.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Mr. Thomas Sarah.
Second.
It's been first and a second. Any other nominations? Seeing no other nominations, we'll do a roll call on Mr. Sarah as vice president.
President Bonds,
Yes.
Vice President Sarah,
I will accept and yes.
Commissioner Atkins. Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller. With a vote of 7-0, Commissioner Sarah, Vice President Sarah, is still Vice President of the Plan Commission.
All right. And then the final position is for secretary, if we have a nomination for that.
I'd like to recommend Mrs. Atkins.
Second.
I do not accept the nomination.
Do we have another nomination?
I would like to make a recommendation. So based on our rules, you can appoint anybody to be the secretary of the commission. They do not have to be a member as a commissioner. So I would appoint Ms. Brown to be, I would make a recommendation or nomination for Ms.
I'll second that.
All right, there being a first and a second, any other nominations? If not, then we'll take a roll call on Ms. Brown serving as the secretary for the Plan Commission Board.
President Bonds,
Yes.
Vice President Sarah,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins. Yes. Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen,
Yes. Commissioner
Commissioner Miller. With a vote of 7-0, I, Regina Brown, am the secretary for Plan Commission.
All right, and with that, we'll turn the meeting back over to President Bonds.
Thank you, council. Congratulations again, Vice President Sarah. We tried to get you Commissioner Atkins. Knew you was gonna do that. We love you anyway. And congratulations, Ms. Brown, whom now will be assisted by the Arts Group. Glad you're here, sir, Mr. Taggy Arshami. With that, we can move into the public hearing items. The next item on the agenda is PC 2024-02, 2200 through 78 Lincoln Street, petition to rezone. Is staff prepared for an overview?
Excuse me,
I'm a principal from the
we
Arts
have a-
Group.
Right, hold on.
Okay.
Thank
can you approach the
Commissioner.
podium? Oh, you have them,
I
okay.
have the- yeah. I'm going to start over, I guess. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Taggy Arshami. I'm a principal with the firm of Arsh Group. We are a planning consulting firm, and we have been retained by the city on a temporary basis to serve as the staff until the city fills the appropriate positions that are currently vacant. And I do also want to reminisce that I used to be, it's a pleasure to be back here. About 30 years ago, I was on this side and I served as the executive director of the commission. So it is, it's really pleasant to come back and serve at a much older age. So what we have in this session, there are 3 pending petitions, and 2 are new, and 1 is a continuation of the previous. So I like to start with the first one, which is a petition to rezone and develop a PUD, Plan Unit Development Ordinance. You may also notice in your handout, in our short time that we have been here, we have sort of streamlined your process to be more efficient with the time. So the recommendation that you have reflects that change in the forms that you may have seen in the past and making it much more efficient process. The property address of this petition is at between 21st and 23rd and Lincoln Street, and that is also known as the former Beckman School, middle school, that has been demolished. The proposal for the rezoning proposal and PUD proposal is for conversion of this vacant land into a logistic and industrial warehousing district. The site does, in some of the plans, does go to Grant Street, although the specific lots and location is not clear to us at this point, because there is no clear survey of the property. But communications with the petitioner indicates that all of Grand Street is between 22nd and 23rd is also included in the petition. The current zoning of the land is R2, that is single-family residential, and as I mentioned, the request is for rezoning and a industrial PUD. The comprehensive plan for the area is mixed use and a commercial corridor. The Grand Street part is a commercial corridor with a B31 zoning designation, and the rest of the site is R2. Surrounding area is basically residential, with the exception of Grand Street frontage, which is a commercial corridor or mixed-use commercial corridor designation. Grand Street is the major corridor in the city of Gary with an average daily traffic of almost 17,000 cars on a daily basis. And the petitioner has submitted a significant amount of information, documentation, and they have also were generous in submitting actually two ordinances. One is for a PUD ordinance, and one is for a map amendment ordinance, and which normally the city staff prepares those. But they have submitted, albeit it is very insufficient and in a type of ordinance and with a lot of materials missing. I guess they had left it open for discussions with the city once this plan is in the review process. So that should be noted. We were also told this morning that there may have been some, my apologies for this, it should have been off. We were also informed this morning that there may have been some issues with notification. I know Ms. Brown is here. I'd like to ask her if she has any update on that. Is that correct? That there is a notification or a change of legal description of some sort that they may have submitted, an amendment.
They needed to amend their application. The application.
Regarding,
the parcel number and, the address.
so that is basically what I said. There was some, this morning we were informed that the material that you have in your possession has been amended. We have not seen it, but it has been amended for legal description or map description. Again, this is not the only item that is missing. A lot of other items in the submission is missing that would require review and completion at some point in the future. The standard for your review of a PUD application is written in the zoning code, section 12360, and that specifically requires in two subparagraph of that section applies to today's agenda, and one is that it has to be the development has to substantially the character of it should be compatible with the neighborhood that it goes around. And in addition, the current city ordinance requires that there are certain criteria and certain standards required for development of this nature, that has a industrial form or nature in that. So that is, those two items are, you're governed by those. In terms of the other aspects of this development, basically this development or any PUD is governed by the state 600 series comprehensive plan and PUD requirements. And this state statute requires that in your decision, you will have to consider the comprehensive plan. you will have to consider the current condition and character of the neighborhood. The most desirable use for this site should be considered, and the conservation of the properties and the values of those properties surrounding this development should be considered in your decision. And also the development you should be responsible or consider a responsible way for the growth and development of the area. And the site boundary maps, as I said, it's not clear to us at this point, and there might be some deficiencies. Certainly there is a need for a better map identifying where the site actually is, where the site boundary is. And as I mentioned, the petitioner has gone through the effort to submit the text of ordinance and the text of a preliminary or draft PUD, which will need to be completed and reviewed at a later time. And there are a lot of, I don't know if you have it, a lot of highlighted sections within that needs to be filled out, which we just cannot do it for them if it is their product. Nonetheless, our recommendation, Mr. President and the member, is due to these deficiencies, due to the state requirements for a PUD, and as well as the city code for a PUD, we are asking for deferral of this petition and allow us, we actually received this information last Friday afternoon, late afternoon. We received it on Monday morning. We just haven't even had a chance to communicate any information with the petitioner. And we would like to request deferral of this. It's a major project, lots of potential impacts, and we are not making judgment on those impacts at this point. But it is, and until next month, or until we can have a conversation with the petitioner to discuss different parts of the proposal.
Thank you, Mr. Arshami. Is the petitioner for PC 2024-02 present? Seeing none, council, I have a question. Because the public hearing is a requirement by code, I think we are supposed to open the public hearing, and if we're deferring, leave it open. Thank you, council. At this time, I will open up the public portion and hearing portion, rather, for PC 2024-02. Is there any members of the public present to speak with regard to PC 2024-02? Seeing none, hearing none, I will leave the public portion open as we entertain the commission's pleasure regarding staff's recommendation.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Atkins?
before there's a motion on movement for this petition, I want to make comments for the commissioners to consider, as well as any members of the administration who's here today. To the representative's point, this particular petition will in fact be controversial, to say the least. This will be similar to the DeJuric trucking petitions that we have dealt with within the last 4 years. And so I would highly recommend that the petition is, when it is brought up again for revisit, that it is highly communicated, and that will be on the earnest of the zoning department as well as the administration to make sure that the public understands the property in which this petition speaks to. I would highly recommend that the administration reaches out to the council representative who is over this area to inform them that this is in fact being for review. Of course, being a colleague of mine, I'll do the due diligence, but it will be more respected if the administration who is considering this does in fact reach out to that person. And so I will ask the commission to support those requests and forward that to the administration when in fact this petition is brought up to us. I would also ask, when it is brought up to us, that it's brought complete. I know that there were statements that there was a number of things, items, that was requested that is still in review, and I don't know what that speaks to. And also, that there is in fact a review of the comprehensive plan. In conversation, we have discussed over the last 4 years that there were potential changes to the comprehensive plan. So if in fact there are, I think that we should review that and ensure that this area is not subjected to any changes before moving forward with the position in this area. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. All very good points, all duly noted, and hopefully staff will take those points and the remarks that Commissioner Atkins made and make the necessary accommodations.
Mr. President, can I just respond to Councilwoman?
Yes, sir, you may.
One comment.
Uh-oh. Oh, he said council?
Commissioner Atkins.
Commissioner Atkins.
I think in review of this, it did come to our attention that the school site is actually still zoned as a school. So it does need to be, the comprehensive plan does need to be addressed. And
Thank you, Mr. Were you finished?
yes.
Thank you, Mr. Arsami. Again, all great points. One point I would like to further emphasize that Commissioner Atkins indicated is the completeness of the package prior to being brought forth to being reviewed by the commission. In addition to all of the other critical components that she emphasized, I really appreciate that, Commissioner Atkins. That was very good. Are there any other questions amongst the commission members? Hearing none, seeing none, then I will entertain the commission's pleasure based off of staff's recommendation, in addition to the comments provided to us by Commissioner Atkins.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Atkins.
I move to the first, I guess it's PC 2024-02.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second it, Mr. Chair.
Having been moved and properly second to defer PC 2024-02 to our next scheduled meeting, are there any other questions on readiness? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call. Ms. Brown?
President Bonds,
Yes.
Vice President Sarah,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes?
Commissioner Fisher,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen,
Yes.
Commissioner Schilling, Commissioner Miller. With a vote of 7-0, the motion to defer PC 2024-02 has passed.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Next item on the agenda is PC 2024-03, 1815 East 15th Avenue, petition to vacate right-of-way. Staff ready for the overview?
Yes, Mr. President, you have, would you like me to talk, or the petitioner is here? it seems?
No, we still need the staff's overview before we allow the petitioner to speak.
Mr. President, the petition is to vacate a public right-of-way, or there was a public street at somewhere around Illinois and 15th Avenue on the east side of the city. The petition is specifically is for vacating a what is platted cul-de-sac at a depth of 164 feet. The cul-de-sac is, the right-of-way is 50 feet wide, so totally it becomes somewhere around 8,200 square feet of public property that is requested to be vacated. The property in location is primarily M12, which is a light manufacturing district, and the land use on both sides of this street is a same light manufacturing district. The street has a very limited improvements. The cul-de-sac is not complete. It is partially paved in a very bad condition. Surrounding the area is primarily the same M1-2 zoning district, which is, and the uses are consistent of warehousing, vacant industrial land, gas stations, warehouse, and other commercial development. Perhaps the most well-known use in the area is across the street is the postal center, the post office center. The area is accessed by 15th Avenue. 15th Avenue is a major thoroughfare in the city of Gary, and average traffic on it, it is 7,200 plus or minus. It should be noted that the traffic count on this street for the last 5 years has gone down significantly. And that indicates some of the vacancy that currently exists in the area, or abundance of, I should say, maybe, abundance and vacancy of the building that are there. The petitioner has submitted several documents which is almost adequate, except that because of the unique condition of the site, we have found that the documents submitted is not adequate, or additional document would be desirable to find to better evaluate this decision and the need of closure of a public street. And the reason for it is primarily there are all of the properties around the site is vacant, and there are 2 parcels that is owned by the city of Gary that city has been marketing for development. It is our guess or our view that based on what has been submitted, that the petitioner is interested to combine or consolidate these parcels, which the petitioner owns 3 of it, and to create a larger parcels. However, the petitioner has not submitted any plans for future development of the site, and considering what it is zoned for M1-2, we feel that, and the number of uses that could be developed there, that there might be opportunity for some objectionable development to be developed without further attention by the city of Gary in the future. I could make a recommendation now, Mr. Chairman, or would you like me? Okay. Again, we would like to, I think it is great that the petitioner is consolidating. However, we would like for the commissioner, for the petitioner to share their future plans for the site, and perhaps work with the city of Gary to develop a larger plan for that larger parcel of land. For that reason, we are requesting the petitioner for you to consider a deferral of the petitioner, and for us to talk to the petitioner to better understand their plans on a long-term basis.
Thank you, Mr. Ashami. I'll take it that you, sir, are the petitioner or representing the petitioner?
Correct. Alex Kutanovsky, Kutanovsky Law Office is representing Lasta Trans Incorporated.
please also state your address for the record?
Absolutely. 1504 North Main Street, Crown Point, Indiana.
Thank you, sir. You may proceed.
Thank you. So to get to Mr. Tagi's comments, there is a greater plan here for this parcel. The right-of-way of Illinois Street is surrounded by my client's parcels. We currently have two city-owned parcels that we have a pending purchase application with the Redevelopment Commission on. I've been working with Attorney Jenkins on that. I was actually hoping that I'd receive that here before today's meeting, but I think Steve was out last week and is getting that over to us. So we've had several conversations with the redevelopment department on this. Those two parcels, my clients picked up a couple parcels off the tax sale that have now transferred into his name. And so what his ultimate plan is here is to develop basically a logistics center for his business. It's kind of spread out now. This site provides a close and convenient opportunity for his drivers to get on I-65. And basically he's looking to consolidate his operations that are now in Gary and Crown Point to this one location. Difficult for us to come with a plan to say, here's what we want to do, because we don't know what was going to happen with Illinois Street. It was only about a month ago that we actually received the deeds for the tax sale parcels, so those were still up in limbo until then. And then not knowing what was going to transpire with the two Gary-owned parcels, very difficult for us to come here and say, here's our layout, here's what we want to do, right? So this is one of the steps in the process. If we can get Illinois Street vacated, if we can finalize the two parcels with the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission, we'd be back here for a site plan, right? So this board would then see a site plan and basically lay out on the table. Now that we have all the parcels purchased, we can put a full plan on the table as to what the petitioner would like to do on the site, but it's essentially a logistics site for him, for his company.
Is that all, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. You don't have to stay if you don't want. I'll open up public portion for anyone who wish to speak with regard to PC 2024-03. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak with regard to PC 2024-03? Hearing none, seeing none, and based off of staff's initial recommendation, we will leave the public portion open for now and open up any questions or comments the commission members may have.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I'd like to know what type of business are you in, sir? And, I mean, over the road, short distance?
Mostly with flatbeds.
Okay. So that is over the road, is that not correct?
Not really, actually, big regional job, delivering and picking up to surrounding states around Indiana.
Okay, okay. And you want to make this your central hub, that's what I'm understanding?
I have a very small place in Crown Point, and Crown Point is beginning too crowded for semi-trucks. Being involved in transportation, I don't want to put anybody in danger with big semis at the place where I am in industrial zone in Crown Point. So I thought this might be a better place for me to move with all the semis. I will be close to the major highways, close to the companies from where I'm doing my business, and that's why I started purchasing those parcels. As you know, semis are 75 foot long, and there are many trucks involved in my business right now, 30 trucks, and trying to expand more, so I really need a bigger space than the space I have in Crown Point.
Now, this location would afford you to be able to house how many trucks?
Well, I didn't think about that, but at least I can accommodate all my fleet.
Which would be
Right
the
here,
30
and-
trucks you spoke about.
Yeah, like 30 trucks, and I believe there might be enough space for maybe 50 or 60.
Now, the two lots you got on tax sale, where are they located?
I just got one lot on the tax sale, which is Axe gas station,
Correct.
The-
It's the old gas station lot.
the old gas station
So
lot.
it's right in front, it'd be to the west of Illinois Street.
the lot behind the gas station, which is alongside the rail, I purchased it. And I also purchased the restaurant between the gas station and the other operating business, which area transportation is temporarily rent right now because their building burned down in Chesterton, so they are temporarily next to my property.
And part of this project or this parcel also involves a building that's divided in half, basically by two owners. We'd be able to clean that up. I know there's been some issue there with ownership and who's responsible for what half of the building and what portion of the building. So we're hopeful that by getting Illinois Street done and acquiring those two parcels, we'll be able to clean up that vacant building there as well.
One thing, thank you, Vice President Sarah. Could you please have your client state his name and address for the record?
Oh, sure.
I'm sorry, my name is Sir John Stankovic, owner of Lasta Trans Inc. I live in Crown Point on the address 1290 Waterside Lane.
Thank you very much, sir. Were there any other commissioners that have questions or comment?
I have one question.
Commissioner Harrell?
This cul-de-sac and easement, based on your observations, have you seen other traffic using this?
There is
no one else
absolutely
there.
no traffic.
No other
all three-
active business or residency or no use whatsoever?
No, like
no.
Mr. Taggi said, that road's not even, it's only partially in, it's not really even, no one would want to use that in the condition that it's in.
Asphalt is damaged too much at the place, and all three parcels around Illinois Street are my business parcels, so if anybody would be coming in and out, that would be my vehicles, so if you want to, I mean, I really want to maintain that lot as a whole thing, you know? And that part of the Illinois Street is not too long, it's only maybe 100 foot, 150 or something, 150 foot.
Very good question. Are there any other commissioners with questions or comment?
I do, but you all have to turn your mics off. Mr. Chair, just a quick question. The petitioner representative, I believe, stated that there's current operations in Crown Point as well as currently in Gary. Where is the other operation in Gary, or are you
You guys are
mentioning?
in Crown Point, right?
We are,
Yeah, so all the trucks need to come from Crown Point to Gary for the loads.
Okay, so
Right,
there's no
there's
current
no current
operation in
operation
Gary?
Other than those guys are coming here for their loads and then having to leave Gary to transport and then come back to Crown Point for, end of the day and to park their vehicles.
Okay, so there's no current operation in Gary?
No current like building or anything like that, no. The only
Okay.
operation is the trucks are coming in here and picking up their loads from the city.
Yeah.
or-
Excuse me, steel haulers? Steel? Are you hauling steel?
yeah.
Okay, I have another question. I also, I just wanted to get clarity from our planning representation. Could you just explain what giving the right to vacate the right-of-way, what does that do for the petitioner?
It combines the two parcels that
Together.
they own on both sides of this street.
Okay, and,
Adds to their property about 8,200 square feet
okay,
of land.
okay. And you currently own the adjacent
I currently own
properties?
three properties around the street, which is, if, like you guys said, cul-de-sac, I'm sorry. If it's cul-de-sac, I own eastern property on the east side of the cul-de-sac, on the west side of cul-de-sac, and on the back where
Okay.
cul-de-sac ends.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that those properties were not, the respective properties that you mentioned are currently waiting to be reviewed in redevelopment?
No, we currently own all the parcels around the entire cul-de-sac.
Okay, thank you for the clarity. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. I had a question that Commissioner Atkins just asked, so I'll remove much of the question. The only other thing I noticed is that NIPSCO asked for an easement, and obviously that's just for continued access for utility purposes. That's not going to cause any type of impediments.
No, it won't, and then that'll be taken into consideration with the site plan and the site development. I mean, we're gonna need utilities to the site for the operation, and so those utilities have to come in anyway, and it's actually a perfect spot for it.
Thank you. And one last question. you own all the properties now, and you've gotten 2 or 1 from the tax sale?
Correct. We bought 1 from the tax sale, and then we're looking at 2 from the redevelopment commission.
Have you gotten beyond the redemption period?
Correct. We have a deed in hand.
So you've getting the deed and certificate, okay.
We do.
Good enough for me. Thank you very
That's-
much.
We were waiting for that to happen before we came to this
Okay.
meeting, because if that didn't happen, then we'd be in a different scenario here today.
All right, then, the staff, or Mr. Arshami, you indicated that there was some incomplete information, documentation. What is it, how significant?
It is not significant in one of them, the other one is up to you. The first significant is the ordinance requires that the petitioner submit a survey of the land of this cul-de-sac.
Mm-hmm.
Although they have provided information, we know it is city-owned, but no survey has been submitted, and I guess that could be easily provided because we do have another survey.
Okay.
We just need to have a separate survey for that. The second requirement is the future use of the land. And, we do not have, they have not submitted any information about, even for the 3 sites, for the 3 parcels that they own, what that future, use will be.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from the commission? Well, I'll make one. I guess what I'm thinking, it looks like the petitioner's attorney has the survey in hand.
I do have a copy of the survey in hand that I can provide.
So that seems like that could be one. I don't know that, and to your point, it wasn't very significant. The other one was planned for future use, and I think I recall the petitioner, or his representation stating that they needed ownership of all the parcels to provide the future use. They have that now. So I guess would the commission be interested in entertaining any approval subject to? Commissioner Sarah.
I just, one quick comment, and then I just want to make sure everybody's aware that this would return this 86,000 square feet? How many square feet?
8,200.
8,200 square feet, I'm sorry, not 1,000. That would return to the tax rolls, and there would be property tax, or taxes paid on that, right? Given that and everything we've heard today, I would make a motion to approve 2024-03, petition to vacate the right-of-way.
It's been moved that we favorably recommend and approve petition PC 2024-03. Is there a second?
I would second that.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or in readiness?
Can we have discussion, Mr. Chair?
Oh, absolutely.
Just a question. So in this case, what will be appropriate to submit to confirm future use of the land? What will we expect the petitioner to present to us?
What, we are basically governed by what the zoning allows once this goes into. They could have a range of uses, potential uses for that site. By right, permitted uses. It could be from adult uses all the way to manufacturing of other materials, noxious materials. And so the range is, this particular zoning has a broad range of uses. And that was one of our concern. And one, if we could suggest, or if such a, as you are aware, it has to go through council, if such a approval is conditioned upon, that these other developments are also obtained and a plan is submitted, that would be the most favorable outcome of this process.
So, Mr. Chair, I would want to prevent any increase of range, make sure that we limit the uses, and so I would like for the commissioner to at least consider the recommendation by the administration to amend the motion and accept conditionally pending, and what would it be pending? There is a submission of
the
use
final plan.
of the final plan and
Final
uses,
use plan,
final use plan.
yeah.
Yes, we would, but that was exactly what I was kind of alluding to myself. But I do have a question. With this being, this still would have to go before the council as well, correct?
Correct.
So that means the council, in addition to this conditional approval, we will have further opportunity for further review. That was one of the things that I was actually considering. So with that, Commissioner Sarah, would you like to amend and restate?
I will restate the motion, Mr. President. I would move to approve 2024-03, the petition to vacate a right-of-way, with the condition that you would submit a site plan to the planning department that's to their satisfaction.
Site plan and future use?
And for future use.
Thank you, Commissioner Sarah. Is there a second?
Second.
Having been moved and properly second to conditionally approve, subject to a site plan and review of future use, are there any additional questions or unreadiness? Council, help me out here. Before we take the roll call, I will now, since we've moved away from staff's original or initial recommendation, close public portion. There won't be a need to leave it open based off of a deferral. That is my only comment. Are there any other additional comments or unreadiness? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call, Ms. Brown.
President Bond,
Yes.
Vice President Sarah,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen,
Yes.
Commissioner Schilling, Commissioner Miller.
Abstain.
With a vote of seven yes and 1 abstaining, the motion to approve PC 2024-03 with the condition to submit a site plan and future usage has passed.
Thank you, Ms. Brown, and please let the record reflect that Commissioner Miller is now in attendance. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is PC 2023-05, an item that was previously heard, deferred, and continued. Proposed amendment to the Gary Municipal Code for the addition to the zoning ordinance of a landscape tree standards and landscape plan. Checklist to the ordinance, chapter 123. Although I have an idea of what's going to happen here, is staff ready with an overview?
Mr. President, this ordinance has been deferred for several months, I understand, and it is on your agenda as a continuation. And the city, we are aware that the city is looking at updating the whole city code. And although this is work in progress at this point, as far as updating the code, we felt that that continuation should continue until the city is clear on where the city plans to go. I know it has been on the agenda for several months, and it's up to you to either defer it. Our recommendation is to deferral, but or the petition could be suspended for the time being until the city make a decision.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Atkins.
I would recommend that you just withdraw it from consideration and then allow the administration to present a new PC when you're ready to move forward. Because suspending it will then still keep it in the atmosphere for you to have to do something. Withdrawing it, just remove it from peripheral, and you can just review when it comes. It have a whole nother new PC number and everything. No, it was not. That was just my suggestion.
A good one, because I was gonna add to that, Commissioner Atkins, who well articulated some of the things that were questionable previously, and I don't know if those concerns of yours have been addressed. So that's a very good position to take. That's the one that I felt would. So I don't think we need to deliberate this any further.
I can't make a motion, I guess. I move to withdraw PC 2023-05 from the consideration of the Planning Commission.
I'll second that.
Having been moved and properly second to withdraw PC 2023-05 from consideration, are there any questions or unreadiness? I will also, counsel, close the previously opened public hearing regarding the same. Hearing none, seeing none, roll call, Ms. Brown.
President Bonds,
Yes.
Vice President Sarah,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook. Yes. Commissioner Fisher,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
With a vote of 8-0, the motion to withdraw PC 2023-05 from the commission's consideration has passed.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Last item on the agenda is adjournment. What is the commission's pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I have a
Hold on, Ms. Cook.
comment, if I can make it.
Yes, ma'am.
Before we adjourn. I just wanted to request that staff, administration, we don't have a current director, but whoever can take the action, if they could do the following. So usually at the start of every year, we receive the following things. It is the policies and procedures of the commission. It is Chapter 5, which is the rules of procedure, as well as Chapter 1, which is the Planning Commission basics, which comes out of the Indiana, I think it's the Citizens Planners Guide, as well as the City of Gary rules related to the Planning Commission. If those could be sent to the commissioners, I know we have repeat members of the commission, but it would still be good to have those. And also, any reference, if commissioners know to look at Indiana Code 3674-300, which actually spells out the duties and responsibilities of the Planning Commission so that we can accurately do our jobs. With the new administration that we have, I'm positive that we could do great things.
Absolutely. Were you finished? I don't
I'm
want to
finished.
interrupt.
Thank you, Mr.
May I suggest that if it's possible, just to submit those electronically for those that could, just to save paper?
No, that's the request, to email those out?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the irony of it is that is exactly what I just tasked the consultant and Ms. Brown with here recently, that we establish written protocol procedures and do exactly what you're requesting, Commissioner Atkins. So it was right on time. And to add to that, Mr. Arshami actually recommended possibly doing a training for both BZA and the Planning Commission so that the two can work together. So I will leave it with the department to put those documents together. I have them, won't hurt to get them again, but also maybe poll the commission to check availability and desire for any subsequent training. Because I also added that I believe the commission, as well as the BZA, function off of Robert Rules of Order.
No.
They don't?
No.
I asked that question, it was told, or? And that is the reason why I asked what I asked, because we kind of, depending on whether it was AJ here or Rodney here or someone, we weren't consistent. And the consistency is what I like to see. So With that, are there any other questions or comments? There's a motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Those opposed, hold the same. Have a great day. Thank you.